In this episode, we explain what an alarm system is, what are its components, how does it work, and what does it do. Nowadays, an alarm system offers not only protection but also automation functions. Tasks are carried out using wired and wireless devices, which make it possible to reach two main goals. 1. Detecting a specific event, and 2. Responding to it. Generally, event types fall into two main categories. Threats, such as burglary or an attempt to break in, flooding, fire, or a gas leak. And others, such as the detection of dusk or a temperature drop. And response types, these include, for example, activating a sound or optical alarm, notifying the event to specified persons and agencies, or launching programmed smart functions involving, for example, system devices or household equipment and systems. Okay, now, what are an alarm system's components? The basis is the control panel. It determines what functions the system can perform, also the number and types of devices you can connect to it. In the first place, these include various detectors, siren, and control devices such as keypads and key fobs. Let's have a closer look at this most important element, namely the control panel. It is this piece of equipment that collects all the information gathered by detectors and sends commands to other devices in the system or notifies of detected events. The control panel is sort of the alpha and omega of the system. I'll show you what the control panel may look like. If you opt for a system like SATEL's Integra or Perfecta 64M, you'll find your system's control panel in such an enclosure. For safety reasons, the enclosure itself should be neither easily accessible nor visible. Don't worry, the installer will certainly find a proper place for it. To compare, here you can see an equivalent control panel in SATEL's B-Wave wireless smart and safe system. It's the Smart Hub. It looks a bit like a TV decoder. You know it very well already, since it has appeared in many previous episodes on this channel. To keep things simple, I'll refer to both types as the control panel for the rest of the episode. The control panel draws power from the power grid. This is the same for all systems, Integra, Perfecta 64M or B-Wave. By the way, to resolve a repeated doubt, will the system continue to operate in the case of a blackout? The answer is, it certainly will. The control panel is protected for such an emergency by the backup battery, which will power it in case of such situation and ensure uninterrupted operation of the system. The control panel is the heart of the system, but it's not really what tells us that an alarm system is installed in the facility, is it? The most notable thing is usually the siren installed on the building's facade, detectors that keep watch on us, or the keypad, most often installed close to the front door inside the facility. Isn't that right? So, well, since I've mentioned further devices in the system, let me tell you a few words about them. The most important here are the detectors that can be divided into indoor and outdoor ones. The indoor models provide protection inside the house, while the outdoor ones keep an eye around the house and along the fence, and are designed to operate in harsh weather conditions. The basic types are motion detectors, opening detectors, shock detectors, and glass break detectors. Additionally, the basic system equipment includes flood detectors, fire detectors, and gas detectors, such as a carbon monoxide detector. Alright, but how does it all work in practice? When is the system active? All the time or only when the system is armed? How to arm the system? How does the system operate when it's disarmed? Well, as long as the devices are connected to a power supply, the system is active all the time. However, it can operate in different modes. It can be fully armed, what is usually used when no one is at home, or it can be partially armed. This option is used when you are at home but still want to protect some part of your property, like the fence around your home or the garage. The system can also be fully disarmed, which means the protection is simply off. So far so good, right? Okay, so let's go on then. Alright, so we've learned the system is active all the time. However, depending on the active mode, it will perform slightly different tasks. And so, it's clear that if the system is armed, detectors perform alarm functions. When they detect an event, an alarm is raised to which the control panel responds in a determined manner. But it's not so obvious that when the system is disarmed, some detectors still perform alarm functions. Why? Imagine you are at home and have set on a washing machine upstairs. Then go downstairs to have a rest on the couch. Unfortunately, a failure occurred and the washing machine is spilling water out. I bet you'd rather learn this immediately and not only when water starts dripping on you from the ceiling, wouldn't you? This is why some devices are armed all the time. This group includes fire detectors, gas detectors, and, of course, flood detectors. However, what do detectors do when they aren't performing alarm functions? The answer is simple. They contribute to controlling the home automation. For example, motion detectors keep informing the control panel about detected movement, and so do the opening detectors about the opening of a window or a door. But in the case when the system is disarmed, the control panel will not use this information to trigger an alarm, only to turn on a light in the room you've entered or turn off the heating in the room you've decided to air. How to activate the security, or in other words, arm the system. For this purpose, you can use the control devices I've already mentioned before. That is a keypad, usually installed close to the front door of the facility, or more remote means such as a key fob or a mobile app. So, the routine is simple. When you leave your house, you arm the system so that the alarm ensures safety of the facility. When you are back home, you disarm the system. What sets the alarm off? Is the triggering of a detector performing alarm functions. The detector may be triggered in two ways. The first is the detection of a specific event to which the alarm is the programmed reaction. For an opening detector, of course, it's the opening of a door or a window. For a motion detector, detecting a movement. For a fire detector, detecting smoke or a rapid temperature rise. For a carbon monoxide detector, detecting even a small amount of gas leak. For a flood detector, detecting a water spill, and so on. The other type of event that may trigger an alarm is detecting attempted tampering or intruding into the device's enclosure. Devices have a special protection feature inside their enclosures, the tamper protection. That's why, when the device's enclosure is opened or removed from its base surface, the system reacts in the form of an alarm or notification of detector failure. The reaction will be similar if you try to cover the detector or paint it over. When compromised, the detector transmits a signal to the control panel. On receiving the signal, the control panel implements a specified action, such as setting off the siren, and immediately notifies the system owner of the raised alarm. What notification options are available? If you use the mobile app, you'll receive a push notification. The control panel may also phone you, which is called a clip notification, or send you a text message. In this episode, we've focused on the alarm function of the system. However, remember that modern control panels can offer much more. For example, they help implement smart home functions. My advice in the end is that you should select a control panel offering more possibilities that you currently need. I mean it in the sense of not only the offered functions, but also the number of supported devices. If you plan to connect, for example, 20 of them, select a model that makes it possible to connect 40. Pay attention to whether both wired and wireless devices can be connected to the control panel. Remember that wireless ones offer a fantastic possibility to extend your system at any time without spending money on renovation or cutting into the walls. There is no telling what the future will hold for you and how your needs will change. It's better to be prepared and not be forced to replace the control panel with another. That's it for today. If you want to learn more about how the alarm system works or have any questions, let me know in the comments below. This channel is for you, and we want to help you better understand alarm system and home automation, while showing you that using them may be simple and really make your life easier. See you next time. Bye!